Welcome, dear viewers, to a world where darkness and mysticism meet in the creepiest forms. Here, in this abandoned corner of the internet, we will delve into the darkest corners of the human imagination. Prepare for awe-inspiring horror, as each of our stories is imbued with sinister secrets that lurk in the darkness of the night.
Nestled in a
Scary
valley,
stories that remain
this
beyond
little
your
town was
imagination
surrounded
are
by
waiting
lush
for you on our
forests,
channel.
where the trees
Don't
whispered
forget to turn
secrets
on the
to the
lights,
wind,
get
and the
comfortable and
river
hold on
meandered
tight,
lazily
because
through the
now we are
landscape.
going into the world of nightmares.
Its
Are you
picturesque
ready for
charm
it?
had attracted people
Then
looking
welcome
for
to our
solace
scary
from the
story.
hustle and bustle of the outside world. The townsfolk were a tight-knit community, and it wasn't unusual for everyone to know their neighbor's name. Horrorsville was a place where children played in the streets, and the elderly would spend hours on their porches, reminiscing about days long gone. It was a town where nothing ever seemed out of place, and it was that sense of security that lulled its residents into a false sense of complacency. However, all of that was about to change. Mysterious disappearances began to plague Horrorsville, leaving the townsfolk baffled and terrified. It was as though the darkness had descended upon this once tranquil haven, and its malevolent presence could not be ignored. The first victims disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only their memories and loved ones who were racked with confusion and sorrow. As the news of these inexplicable disappearances spread like wildfire, a palpable fear gripped the town. The once friendly streets grew quieter as a shroud of unease descended upon the town. Parents kept their children indoors, and the townsfolk whispered fearful tales of an elusive and malevolent presence lurking in the shadows. The police were overwhelmed, their investigations leading to dead ends and false leads. Panic swept through Horrorsville, and a sense of dread hung in the air. It was as though the town itself had become haunted, and its people couldn't escape the feeling that they were being watched, their every move scrutinized by an unseen entity. Soon, chilling messages began to appear, etched in blood, on the doors of homes and walls around the town. They were cryptic, filled with strange symbols and riddles that defied comprehension. The blood-red letters sent shivers down the spines of those who stumbled upon them. Some believed the symbols to be ancient, while others saw them as a sinister omen, a harbinger of doom. In one particularly unsettling incident, a message appeared on the door of the Johnson residence. It was a message no one could decipher, but its meaning was clear. The town was under siege by an unknown force. Panic spread like wildfire once again, and the Johnsons fled their home in terror, never to be seen in Horrorsville again. The townsfolk gathered at the local church, seeking solace in their shared fear. Pastor Miller, a calming presence in the community, stood before the congregation and offered words of hope and unity. He assured them that they would overcome this darkness together, but even his comforting words couldn't dispel the heavy cloud of terror that hung over Horrorsville. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the situation in Horrorsville grew increasingly dire. Each new day brought more cryptic messages, more unexplained disappearances, and more fear. The once thriving community was now a ghost town, with empty streets and boarded-up homes. In the midst of this chaos, a shadowy figure emerged, a maniacal presence that sent chills down the spines of those who dared to speak of it. This figure became known as the Enigma, a name that struck fear into the hearts of all who heard it. No one knew who the Enigma was, but the very mention of the name was enough to send shivers down the bravest of spines. As the Enigma's reign of terror continued, Horrorsville's darkest hour had arrived, and its residents found themselves facing a horrifying reality they could never have imagined. The town that had once been a sanctuary of peace and tranquility had become a nightmarish realm where darkness and terror reigned supreme. Little did the people of Horrorsville know that their battle against the Enigma had only just begun, and the coming chapters of their harrowing tale would be filled with unspeakable horrors and unimaginable terrors. As the dark cloud of fear continued to grip the town of Horrorsville, Detective Anna and her partner, Mike, decided it was time to take action. The town needed heroes, and they were determined to be the ones to stop the maniac before he could commit another heinous act. Anna was a seasoned detective with a sharp mind and a fearless determination. She had seen her fair share of gruesome crimes, but nothing had prepared her for the malevolence that had descended upon Horrorsville. Mike, her partner, was a loyal and dedicated officer, always ready to back Anna up, no matter how perilous the situation. Their journey into the heart of darkness began with a thorough examination of the previous disappearances and the cryptic messages left behind. Anna spent hours poring over the symbols and riddles, searching for any clues that might lead them to the maniac's identity. She could sense a pattern, a method to the madness, and she was determined to decipher it. Their first lead came from a witness who had seen a figure lurking in the shadows near the scene of one of the disappearances. The witness's description was vague at best, but it was a starting point. Anna and Mike canvassed the area, hoping to find some evidence that might shed light on the case. As they scoured the streets and alleyways, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The town had grown eerily quiet, and every rustle of leaves or distant sound seemed to take on a sinister significance. Mike's hand rested on the grip of his sidearm, a constant reminder of the danger that lurked in the shadows. Their search led them to the outskirts of town, where they stumbled upon a gruesome discovery. Hidden in the underbrush, they found a collection of disturbing symbols etched into the trees and ground. They appeared to be some sort of ritual markings, their purpose shrouded in mystery. Anna carefully documented the symbols, recognizing that they held a key to understanding the maniac's motives. The maniac was clever, leaving no direct evidence that could be traced back to him. He was a master of deception, always one step ahead of the law. Anna and Mike felt as though they were chasing a ghost, a malevolent force that reveled in their torment. As they continued their investigation, they uncovered a series of bizarre occurrences that sent shivers down their spines. Animals in the town had been brutally mutilated, their bodies left as gruesome calling cards. The maniac was sending a message, and it was clear that he relished the fear he was instilling in the town. The town's fear and paranoia had reached a fever pitch. Neighbors turned on neighbors, and trust among the townsfolk disintegrated. No one felt safe, and the streets grew emptier with each passing day. It was as though the very soul of Horrorsville had been tainted by the maniac's presence. Anna and Mike pressed on, determined to stop the reign of terror. They interviewed potential witnesses, analyzed the cryptic messages, and examined the ritualistic symbols. Each step brought them closer to unraveling the maniac's dark and twisted motivations, but the cost was high. The toll on their own psyches was immeasurable, as the horrors they uncovered left scars that would never fully heal. The hunt for the maniac intensified, but with each passing day, the darkness in Horrorsville deepened. The town had become a place of nightmares, where the line between reality and horror blurred. Anna and Mike knew that they were walking on the edge of a precipice, and the abyss of evil that loomed before them was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Their resolve remained unshaken, however. They were the only hope the town had left, and they would stop at nothing to bring the maniac to justice. As they delved deeper into the twisted mind of their elusive adversary, they realized that the true horror of Horrorsville was yet to be revealed. The battle against the maniac was far from over, and the next chapter of their harrowing journey promised to be even more chilling and terrifying. As Detective Anna and her partner, Mike, continued their relentless pursuit of the maniac, they were on the verge of uncovering the most chilling revelation of all. The elusive maniac had concealed a dark and twisted past, secrets that had shaped him into the malevolent force that now terrorized Horrorsville. Their investigation had led them down a dark and convoluted path, one that would force them to confront unimaginable horrors, not only in the maniac's actions, but also within themselves. Their relentless digging into the town's history revealed a series of unsolved crimes that dated back decades. Anna was meticulous in her research, and as she uncovered these cold cases, a sinister pattern emerged. The maniac had a long-standing connection to the town, and it appeared that his malevolence had festered for years. The maniac, whose real name was revealed to be Samuel Blackwood, had grown up in Horrorsville. As a child, he had been subjected to unspeakable abuse at the hands of his own family. The town had turned a blind eye to his suffering, and that betrayal had festered within Samuel, shaping him into a harbinger of darkness. Anna and Mike uncovered a series of diaries written by Samuel during his childhood, each entry a disturbing account of the torment he endured. The young Samuel had poured his anguish onto the pages, painting a harrowing picture of his descent into madness. It was a portrait of a boy who had been pushed to the brink of sanity, and it was clear that the town's sins had played a significant role in his transformation. But there was more to Samuel's twisted history. They discovered that he had been a promising student, a gifted artist whose talents were overshadowed by the shadows that haunted him. Samuel had left Horrorsville in his late teens, vowing never to return, but the darkness he carried with him had grown stronger. As Anna and Mike delved deeper into the maniac's past, they began to unravel a web of deceit and corruption that extended beyond the Blackwood family. The town's most prominent citizens were implicated in a cover-up, one that had allowed Samuel's torment to continue unchecked. The realization that those they had trusted and revered were complicit in such heinous acts shook Anna and Mike to their core. The deeper they ventured into Samuel's history, the more they understood the depth of his hatred for Horrorsville. He had returned to the town with a vengeance, determined to expose the rot that had infected its very soul. Samuel had become the embodiment of the town's darkest secrets, a living nightmare sent to drag its hidden sins into the light. As Anna and Mike pieced together the puzzle of Samuel's past, they faced moral dilemmas that would test the very fabric of their beings. They knew that Samuel was a product of the town's own malevolence, but they also knew that he had to be stopped before he could inflict more suffering on innocent people. The line between justice and revenge had blurred, and they had to tread carefully to ensure they didn't become the monsters they were fighting against. The revelation of Samuel's true identity sent shockwaves through Horrorsville, as the townsfolk grappled with the sins of their past and the horrors that had come back to haunt them. As Anna and Mike closed in on their quarry, they knew that the final confrontation with the maniac would be a battle not only of wits, but of the soul. The next chapter of their harrowing journey promised to be the most chilling and morally complex yet, as they faced the ultimate question: how far were they willing to go to stop the darkness that had consumed their town? The town of Horrorsville stood at the precipice of a fateful showdown, as Detective Anna and her partner Mike closed in on Samuel Blackwood, the maniac who had plunged their once tranquil town into darkness. The stage was set for a harrowing confrontation, a battle that would determine the fate of the town and the souls of its inhabitants. With each step they took closer to Samuel's hidden lair, the air grew thick with tension. The very streets seemed to pulse with malevolence, as if the town itself had turned against them. They had to tread carefully, aware that one wrong move could lead to catastrophe. Their pursuit led them to an abandoned and decaying mansion on the outskirts of town. It was a place steeped in the history of Samuel's family, a place where the most unspeakable horrors had taken root. As they ventured deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine corridors, the sense of impending doom grew stronger. The final confrontation was inevitable, and they knew it. Samuel had been meticulous in covering his tracks, leaving no room for mistakes, and that only heightened the sense of vulnerability that gripped Anna and Mike. The town's secrets and lies had given birth to this monster, and now they were the ones tasked with extinguishing his malevolence. In the heart of the mansion, they found Samuel's lair, a chamber filled with twisted artwork and grotesque memorabilia. It was a shrine to his suffering, a place where his torment had been transformed into madness. Anna and Mike exchanged a grim look, knowing that the maniac was close. Their presence did not go unnoticed. Samuel emerged from the shadows, his face contorted by a mix of anguish and rage. He was a tormented soul, his past atrocities etched into the very fiber of his being. His eyes burned with a malevolent fire, and it was clear that he saw himself as the avenging angel of Horrorsville. The ensuing battle was a symphony of chaos and desperation. Samuel was a formidable adversary, fueled by a lifetime of pain and hatred. Anna and Mike fought with every ounce of their strength and determination, but the maniac's insanity gave him an edge that was both unpredictable and terrifying. As they clashed in the dimly lit chamber, it was clear that the battle was not only physical, but also a test of wills. Samuel's unhinged mind was a formidable weapon, and he used psychological tactics to torment Anna and Mike. They had to confront not only the physical threat before them, but also their own fears and doubts.